Have you ever wondered if a woman is truly attracted to you but just isn't saying it out loud? Have you caught a look, a small gesture, a sudden shift in energy and thought, was that something or nothing? What if I told you that women rarely express real attraction with words, but almost always show it in behavior? The truth is, most men miss these signals, not because they're not smart, but because they're not looking in the right places. So the question is, what do women actually do when they're deeply drawn to a man? What are the subtle, almost invisible behaviors that reveal a genuine pull? This isn't about tricks, it's about understanding. And once you know what to observe, everything changes. Let's break it down. One of the first signs a woman is truly attracted to you isn't in her words, it's in her posture. How she holds herself changes when she feels pulled toward a man. You may notice her leaning in slightly when you speak, her feet pointed toward you, her body subtly angled in your direction even in a group. These shifts are often unconscious, but they're not random. They're psychological cues rooted in biology and emotional attention. Why does this matter? Because body positioning is the first layer of intimacy. It's how we signal openness or retreat, long before words ever enter the equation. When a woman consistently orients herself toward you, it means she's not just present, she's engaged. She wants to pick up more than your words. She wants proximity. She wants energy. She wants you in her frame of awareness. This doesn't always mean bold, dramatic movements. In fact, the most telling signs are subtle. She might angle her chair slightly when you sit down. She may unconsciously mirror your posture. If you lean on one arm, so does she. If you shift your stance, she adjusts. These are micro signals of comfort and rapport, and they happen when attraction is real and deep-seated, not forced. Now here's the key. Most men overlook this, especially men who are older or more logical in nature. We tend to listen to words and ignore physical nuance, but women, especially emotionally intelligent ones, speak through space. Their positioning is part of their language. And if you want to read her interest with clarity, you need to learn how to listen with your eyes. So next time you're with a woman and wondering where you stand, don't just focus on what she's saying. Look at how she's sitting, where she turns, where her feet land. Because when a woman is drawn to you, her body will almost always arrive before her words do. Mirroring is one of the most powerful subconscious behaviors in human psychology. When someone feels emotionally connected or wants to be, they begin to unconsciously match the other person's rhythm. And in the case of a woman who's genuinely attracted to you, this shows up in ways most men don't even notice. Her tone softens like yours. She laughs at your rhythm. She starts using similar phrases. It's not copying, it's attuning. Why does this happen? Because our brains are wired to connect through reflection. When a woman mirrors your behavior even slightly, she's communicating, "I'm aligned with you." It's a nonverbal form of agreement and emotional synchronization. You walk a little slower, so does she. You take a breath before answering. She mirrors it. You start using a particular word, and it shows up in her next sentence. It's subtle, but it's real. And this isn't limited to just speech. She might begin picking up small habits you have. Maybe you stir your coffee a certain way, and one day so does she. Maybe you have a habit of touching your beard while thinking, and suddenly she's touching her necklace in the same pattern. It sounds small, but these are high-level psychological signals that she's tuning into your wavelength. What's important is not to overanalyze, but to observe without ego. Mirroring doesn't mean manipulation or mind games. It means comfort, interest, connection. A woman doesn't mirror someone she doesn't feel emotionally safe with. So when you see it happening, recognize it for what it is, a quiet signal that she's emotionally investing, even if her words haven't caught up yet. Next time you're in a conversation, slow down and watch the rhythm. Is she keeping pace with your tone? Is her body language echoing yours? If so, she may not be trying to impress you. She may simply be drawn to you. And when mirroring begins, it's often the mind's way of saying, I like how this feels. I want to stay in sync. When a woman is deeply attracted to a man, time behaves differently for her. She lingers, she delays, she stretches moments that to anyone else would be ordinary. Whether it's a quick conversation that somehow turns into 20 minutes or a casual interaction that leads to just one more thing, the pattern is always the same. She doesn't want the moment to end. This behavior is rarely direct. Most women, especially those who are emotionally mature, don't spell it out. Instead, they create reasons. She forgot to mention something. She needs your opinion. She remembered a story that just came to mind. In truth, none of these things are the reason she's still standing there. The reason is much simpler. She enjoys your presence and doesn't want to leave it. And here's what makes this powerful. She doesn't always know she's doing it. She's not calculating. It's instinctive. Her body and emotions are steering her toward proximity because that proximity feels good. It feels safe. It feels exciting. She may be standing casually, but what she's really doing is investing more time, which is one of the most valuable things a person can offer. Most men misread this. They assume the conversation is just going long or that she's simply being friendly. But when a woman repeatedly chooses to extend the moment, she's giving you a signal. Not a loud one, a quiet, consistent one. And that's often more meaningful than any flirtatious remark. So pay attention. Does she hesitate before saying goodbye? Does she take the long way around just to walk beside you? Does she circle back with one last thing? If so, you're not just in her thoughts. You've entered her emotional field, and when a woman starts carving out extra time just to be near you, it's not an accident, it's attraction. One of the most revealing signs of deep attraction isn't what a woman says. It's how she suddenly becomes more aware of herself when you're near. You might notice she adjusts her hair more often, straightens her posture, softens her voice, checks her reflection in a window without even realizing it. This isn't vanity, it's instinct. She's not performing, she's reacting to how you make her feel. When a woman is drawn to a man, she starts noticing how she's being perceived, but not in a shallow way. It's not about trying to impress you with perfection. It's about aligning how she feels on the inside with how she presents herself on the outside. She wants to be seen at her best. Not because she's insecure, but because your presence awakens something feminine in her. That self-awareness is her way of saying, without words, I care how I show up around you. This often happens without her even knowing it. She might touch her lips more, fix her necklace, or smooth her clothes as you walk by. She may suddenly become quieter or more intentional with her words. These aren't signs of nervousness, they're subtle indicators that you matter, that your opinion carries weight in her internal world. Men who are emotionally perceptive will recognize this shift. It's not about dominance or control, it's about noticing her energy. Her focus sharpens around you. She becomes more present, more refined, more alive in her expression. That's not performance, that's polarity. It's how attraction naturally balances the masculine and the feminine. So next time you're with her, don't just listen to what she's saying. Watch how she carries herself. Is she adjusting, softening, becoming more intentional when you enter the room? If so, that's not coincidence, that's chemistry. And it's happening in real time, right in front of you. In a world where attention is fragmented and people barely remember what was said yesterday, memory becomes a sign of value. When a woman is deeply attracted to you, she starts remembering things most people forget. Your favorite coffee, a story you told weeks ago, even the way you described your father's advice. This isn't coincidence. It's emotional imprinting. Attraction sharpens awareness. The female brain, especially when emotionally engaged, becomes detail-oriented. If something you said stood out to her, it stays with her. Not because she's trying to impress you by recalling it, but because you've made a mark. The more subtle the memory, the more significant the meaning behind it. She's not storing facts, she's storing you. You might casually mention an old song you liked, and the next time you meet, she brings it up. Or maybe you once said how you don't like loud places, and she subtly chooses a quiet cafe next time. These aren't random acts. They're evidence of focus. And in a culture where most people only listen to reply, a woman who listens to remember is revealing something deeper. Emotional investment. For men, especially in midlife, this kind of attention hits differently. It's not flattery, it's recognition. You're not just another voice in the noise. You're someone she's paying attention to with care. It's her way of saying, "You matter. What you say lingers with me." And that's not something people fake. It comes from genuine pull, so pay close attention to what she recalls. If she brings up something small you said, something you barely remember yourself, that's no accident. That's a sign. Because when a woman begins to remember you in detail, it means she's not just hearing you, she's feeling you. Attraction has a unique tension to it. It's a mix of comfort and curiosity, familiarity and edge. When a woman is truly drawn to you, she often becomes playful, teasing, joking, smiling more than usual. But underneath that playful surface, there's often a touch of nervous energy. Not fear, not discomfort, something else, something alive. It's her emotional system responding to your presence. That nervousness may show up in little stumbles, laughing at things that aren't even that funny, fidgeting with her ring, forgetting what she was saying mid-sentence. It's not a flaw. It's actually one of the most honest signs of attraction. It shows that she cares how she's being received by you. That she's slightly off balance in your presence, but in a good way. Playfulness, on the other hand, is her way of bridging the gap. It allows her to engage without being too exposed. She might tease you about your habits, throw a mock insult your way, or playfully challenge something you said. But beneath it all is a desire for closeness. She's testing the waters, seeing how you respond, building trust one smile at a time. Many men, especially those who are more logical or serious by nature, may overlook this behavior or misread it as immaturity. But the stoic man sees it differently. He recognizes that nervous playfulness is emotional vulnerability in disguise. It's a form of openness. It means you matter enough to trigger that electric edge in her emotions. So the next time a woman seems lighthearted yet slightly flustered around you, don't rush to fix it. Let her be there. Let her tease, let her blush. Because if she's playful but just a little nervous, she's not just passing time. She's letting you into a space where she feels something. And that's where real connection begins. One of the quietest signs of attraction is when a woman starts looking to you, not for approval in the loud, obvious sense, but for small confirmations that she's being seen, appreciated, and understood by you. She might ask, "Do you think this looks okay?" Or, "Was that a stupid thing to say?" On the surface, it's casual. Underneath, it's a request. "Do I still have your attention?" Attraction often softens pride. When a woman feels deeply drawn to a man, especially one she respects, his opinion starts to matter. And not because she's insecure, because she's emotionally invested. She might seek feedback on her ideas, her appearance, even how she handled a situation. These aren't just conversations, they're subtle invitations. She wants to matter in your eyes. This seeking of validation isn't about weakness, it's about emotional connection. A woman who's indifferent doesn't care what you think. A woman who's interested, however, starts aligning her words and actions with what resonates with you. That doesn't mean she loses herself. It means she values the space between you enough to want to nurture it. As a man, especially in midlife, it's easy to miss these cues or brush them off as just polite conversation. But the emotionally aware man listens deeper. He hears the intention beneath the question. And he responds not by boosting her ego, but by being present, honest, and attentive. Sometimes a quiet, "that actually makes a lot of sense," means more than any grand compliment. So next time a woman asks what you think, even about something seemingly trivial, don't ignore it. Look closer, because when a woman is drawn to you, even her lightest questions carry emotional weight. She's not just asking for your opinion, she's asking if she still has a place in your attention. And that's not something she'd do if she didn't care. Attraction that goes beyond surface level always moves into depth. When a woman is truly drawn to you, she becomes curious, not just about what you do, but about why you do it. She starts asking about your goals, your values, your turning points. Not to analyze you, but to understand the inner framework that makes you who you are. And that kind of curiosity is rare. Think about it. Most people engage in small talk. They ask what you do for a living, what kind of music you like, what you did last weekend. But when a woman begins asking about your biggest lessons, what keeps you grounded, what you've had to unlearn over the years, that's not just interest. That's connection on a psychological level. She's not flirting. She's listening to your soul speak. And here's the beautiful paradox. She's not doing it to flatter you. She's doing it because your depth awakens her own. Emotionally mature women are drawn to men who reflect inner work. If she senses that you've evolved, grown, struggled, and risen again, she wants to know more, not just the victories, but the mindset behind them. Your philosophy, your quiet discipline, the parts of you most people overlook. For the middle-aged man especially. This is where things shift. You're no longer defined by quick charm or superficial status. You become defined by how you think, how you lead yourself, how you handle what life throws at you. And the woman who truly sees that, she asks questions not to test you, but to build something deeper with you. So next time a woman gets curious, not just about what you've done, but who you've become, don't downplay it. Lean in. Because when she shows interest in your growth, it means she's not just seeing who you are now. She's imagining what it might feel like to grow with you. One of the most overlooked signs of real attraction is not excitement, not laughter, not even flirtation. It's stillness. When a woman is truly drawn to you, especially on an emotional or intellectual level, she often becomes quieter in the moments that matter most. It's not disinterest, it's presence. She's not trying to speak over you, she's listening deeply. When you begin to share something that touches your values, your past, or your internal world, pay attention to her response. If she leans in slightly, if her expression softens, if her gaze holds, you've just crossed into something deeper. And the fact that she doesn't interrupt, doesn't try to one-up the story, doesn't immediately fill the silence afterward, is a sign that what you said landed. Quietness is often where connection grows. In those seconds between your words, when she's processing what you shared, a bond is forming. She's not just hearing the story, she's feeling it with you. And that kind of emotional absorption is not something women offer to just anyone. It's a sign of deep respect and deeper attraction. For men who are used to being logical or who've been taught that conversation should always be quick and witty, this quiet can feel awkward. But the stoic man knows better. He doesn't rush to fill the silence. He allows space because he understands that the most meaningful exchanges often don't need explanation. They need room to breathe. So the next time you speak from a place of truth and she goes quiet, don't assume she's uninterested. Look closer. That silence may be the loudest signal she's giving you. Because when a woman listens without distraction, without performance, without looking for her turn to speak, she's not just hearing you, she's connecting to you. When a woman begins to weave you into her future language, without making it obvious or forced, it's one of the clearest signs that her attraction is not just emotional, but intentional. She might say, "You'd love that place," or "If we ever did that, you'd probably take charge," or even something as light as, "Next time, you're coming with me." These aren't just casual remarks, they're trial connections. Women who feel drawn to a man begin testing how it feels to include him in their future narrative. They don't do it formally, they do it playfully, even indirectly. But make no mistake, these are not random words. It's her subconscious way of measuring emotional compatibility, of placing you into her mental space beyond the present moment. And what makes this so powerful is the subtlety. She's not asking for commitment, she's not making grand plans, she's gently painting a picture where you're part of the scenery. That could be as small as suggesting a place you'd enjoy, or as meaningful as mentioning how your mindset aligns with the kind of life she wants to build. Middle-aged men, especially those who've experienced longer relationships or major life shifts, can recognize that real connection is built not just on attraction, but on vision. When a woman starts blending you into her vision, even in minor comments, it's a clear sign she's thinking in terms of we, not just me. That shift in language reveals where her feelings are heading. So next time you hear her say something that puts you into a future frame, don't brush it off. Pause. Listen. Because when a woman starts subtly inviting you into what comes next, she's not just flirting. She's imagining a reality where you're not just in her present, but also in her possibilities. Sometimes the clearest signs don't come through big gestures or obvious words. They come through pauses, small shifts, and quiet patterns that reveal far more than they say. A woman who's truly attracted to you won't always spell it out. But if you know what to observe, you'll start to see it, feel it, understand it. If these patterns sound familiar, or if you've experienced them without knowing what they meant, let me know in the comments. Which one have you seen play out in real life? And if you're here to better understand connection, attraction, and yourself as a man, subscribe to the channel. This is the kind of awareness that turns quiet confidence into real power.